Hi, Dan Steven Erickson here, songwriter. I'm back in the closet only because I want a better sound quality for this video. So it's been about 2 months since I bought this Martin 17 triple aught, this triple aught 17 SM, and I learned what SM means. I've been doing a little research on the guitar, so I just wanted to review it now that I've owned it for about 2 months and let you know what I think. So the triple aught, of course, is the body size. So this is triple aught body size. 17, I think, is just a little nicer than a 15. I'm not sure. SM stands for Sitka mahogany. So the top is Sitka, the back and the sides are mahogany, all solid woods. So that's what the Martin triple aught 17 SM is. It's also a 12 fret guitar where there's more than 12 frets, but where the body meets the neck is at the 12 fret mark. Which is kind of more like a classical style guitar, and they use these slotted headstocks on the 12 fret style guitars because it creates a warmer sound that way. I'm not sure all the technical aspects of that, but that's why they do that. So I'm going to play a little bit, and then I'm going to tell you a little more information about the guitar, and I got some quotes, and I got some information from Martin about it, but just so you hear it here. So that's a little bit of the sound. It's real woody and a little bit boxy, which I tend to like boxy. I like mid-range and I like boxy. So I did some research. Now, first of all, this guitar was only made for a couple of years, I discovered. Now, when I bought the guitar, they told me it was 13 years old. However, when I looked it up, they were only made from 2015 to 2017. So it's more like 11 or 12 years old. I imagine this was probably the first run. I haven't gone so far as to look up the serial number and find out exactly when it was made. Maybe it was 2013 and sold in 2014. I don't know, but they only made them for a couple of years, and I looked into why that was, and it's because it wasn't a big seller. Right? So they quit making them. It's a vintage style 12 fret sloped shoulder acoustic guitar with a deep warm tone, but it was discontinued after 2017. So here's a couple, so I went on some forums, and here's a guy, he said, I've seen several reviews on YouTube, and they seem to sound amazing for a solid wood Martin priced under the $2,000 price point. Gorgeous shaded Sitka top, slope shoulder body, 12 fret neck, 1.75 width, which I really like. It's got a wide nut here. Sexy slotted headstock, all the right stuff, so it's got a huge dark and mellow tone, he says. Here's another comment. My 2015 was a real comfy player with a good solid build and bigger tone that the body size would seemingly produce. It was very similar sounding to a 63 Guild triple aught F30. So by virtue, the redundancy rule, it rode the truck to Happy Texas buyer. Well, anyway, he goes on. I guess he wound up sounding like maybe he sold it, or but it's a great spruce top, natural. He liked it, and he thought about changing the top, sanding it down and doing something with it. Another one says, keep your eye out, because they're hard to find now. And I didn't know that. They're kind of hard to find, maybe a little bit rare. Keep your eye out. That they pop up from time to time. I found mine gathering dust at a Midwest Guitar Center store for several $100 less than the two I was looking at on Reverb. So another guy says, I have owned and gigged with one since 2018. I really like it. Very lightweight, and it is lightweight. Easy to play and sounds beautiful unplugged too. They have a nice dry woody tone. I have to upgrade he upgraded the tuning machines. That's one of the complaints. So I'll talk about complaints in a minute. He upgraded those, and he used it for 3 gigs a week. He says it was a great guitar. Okay, so let's talk about complaints. So I did read a few complaints about these. Some people complain that these tuning heads, it's got the kind of vintage style, these plasticky, I don't know what they're called, what kind of the material they are exactly, but they're vintage Martin tuning head, and some people complain about those. They say they're tight, they're hard to use. I haven't had many problems so far. And another person complained that the whole guitar itself seems a little lightweight, and what's the word? Easy to damage, right? He was a gigging musician and said it seemed easy to damage. And I might agree, because when I bought this, you may not be able to see it. Ah, there it is. A little tiny crack in there that had already developed and had been fixed. So maybe they are a little, lightweight. I like lightweight guitars though. So those are a couple of the complaints, that they're a little too lightweight, and the tuning heads. Those are the main 2 complaints. I saw they get like 4 to 4.5 stars out of 5. As I said, they are not made anymore, so they were only around for a couple of years because they weren't a big seller. But it's the Martin Triple Aught 17 SM. It's got a solid Sitka top, solid mahogany back and sides, and I really like it. I haven't yet experimented much with the electronics. I've used them, they work fine, but one reason people put these in is because you get a lot more ability to tweak the sound. So it's easier to distort an acoustic guitar using the in the hole pickup rather than the one built in and on the back side of the wood. It just gives you more diversity in creating different sounds. So I'll have to experiment with that more, and maybe someday up the road I'll do a review on how that works. Anyway, I just thought I'd review this guitar after I've owned it for a couple months. I'm going to be putting it away temporarily because I'm going to be working on some songs, lost songs that I wrote on my 67 Gibson that I keep tuned to D-A-D, D-A-D, and I want to focus on that. So I'm going to put this away, and a really good way to find out how much you love a guitar is you put it away for a little bit and you pull it back out, and if it really makes you feel good and inspired, you know you got a good guitar. So far, the sound of this guitar has grown on me. It's not the same as that L-00, not better, not worse, different. I like it better. I'm more of a Martin guy than a Gibson guy in general. So this is it. 1 month or about 2 months after buying it, I'm still loving it. And I'm Dan Steven Erickson, songwriter, and I'll be back soon with another song. You all have a good day.